Hello and welcome to another spooky video. This is just a quick video to mark Halloween. Tonight is Halloween 2024, and of course this is the ultimate night for ghost stories. We all love a good Halloween ghost story. I sure do. I think most of us associate Halloween particularly with kind of childhood memories. And I certainly remember on Halloween when I was a kid, not a little kid, more around the age of 12 or 13 or so. I remember that me and these guys I used to hang out with every Halloween for 2 or 3 years running. We used to mess around with Ouija boards. And we did this, as I say, for 2 or 3 years running. It was kind of a game which we took semi seriously. And one or two slightly weird things happened, which I think I can put down to coincidence. To be fair, I can't, in all honesty, say that anything really happened that can't be put down to coincidence, at least in our case. But if you're thinking about doing something like that tonight, I wanted to offer a cautionary tale. So, this is not my own personal experience. This is a story told to me some years later when I was a university student. One of my friends at uni gave me an account of something that had happened to him a year or two previously when he was a first year student. So, this was before I knew him. So again, obviously, this is not my own experience. This is something that was told to me by someone else, but this was his own first-hand experience. And this happened in student accommodation in the first year of uni. So my friend and some of his friends were messing around with a Ouija board, which is I had done a few years earlier with some of my old mates. They were messing around with this Ouija board, and a spirit supposedly came through. So, of course, the pointer started moving around on the board, and apparently it started to spell out a name. And I can't, in all honesty, remember what the name was. I mean, this was years, many years ago now since I heard this story, so I can't remember exactly what the name was. But apparently it spelled out the name of this supposed spirit, and together with some other stuff. And these lads were, okay, maybe not taking this entirely seriously, and maybe they'd had a few drinks as well. And one of them started, as we say in England, started to take the piss. He started to mock this so-called spirit, and basically he called bullshit on the whole thing. He said, all right, if this really is a spirit, then prove it. Do something other than messing around on the board. And as he said this, according to my friend, the instant that this guy spoke these words, the light bulb above their heads shattered. Now, the light wasn't even on. They'd turned the light off, they'd lit candles and all of that stuff, so the light wasn't even on. But the exact moment that these words were spoken, the light bulb went pop and the broken glass fell all over the floor. And as you can imagine, this kind of put the shits at them. So they abandoned what they were doing. They put the Ouija board away. They blew out all the candles, and abandoned the game. But my friend said that after that, there, again, you can say maybe this was his imagination, but he swore that after that, the room that they had been doing the seance stuff in the atmosphere of that room changed permanently. And it was some days later when he was in the house alone. The others were out, and my friend was there on his own, and he started to feel creeped out. He started to feel uneasy, as though he were being watched. And he tried to ignore it. He put the telly on. He sat there watching telly for a bit, and then, without warning, the TV suddenly went off. Suddenly went black, and it stayed off for about 30 seconds, and then it came back on again. And this repeated 2 or 3 more times. Now, you may think that the TV was just faulty. Maybe it was. But again, my friend reported feeling this instinct that someone was watching him, that there was a sense of a presence in the room. He couldn't see anything, there was no sound, but he had this instinctive feeling of a presence watching him. A few nights after this, he was asleep in bed and he woke up from a bad dream. And he swore to me that he saw a dark figure standing at the end of the bed. And not only that, the very same night, one of his housemates had an identical experience. So obviously my friend was pretty freaked out with this. Fortunately, this happened towards the end of term, and he went home to his parents. He stayed at home a week or two, and it was not long after that he was due to move out of the student house anyway. So he moved out of that house for good, and the following term rented somewhere else in a different part of town. And he personally never had any further experiences. But in the following academic year, one of the other guys who had been part of this seance apparently cracked up and he attempted suicide. He didn't succeed. Fortunately, he was found in time. He had taken an overdose, but he was found in time. Fortunately, he was rushed to hospital and he survived. But apparently, this guy dropped out of uni after that. And again, according to my friend, this guy hadn't had any mental health issues previously. Again, maybe a coincidence, but everyone apparently said that it was after that night with the Ouija board, he had experienced a personality change. He had gone from being a pretty cool, chilled out, laid back, relaxed kind of guy to being totally paranoid, anxious, and depressed, to the point of attempting to take his own life. So that's the story as I received it. And as I say, I obviously can't testify to it being true myself. I didn't experience this personally. I got this second hand, but this is from a guy that I knew pretty well and who, as far as I'm aware, wasn't in the habit of making up bullshit stories. So who knows? What I have been told by various people, including a spiritualist acquaintance of mine as well as a Catholic priest, what these people have told me is that Ouija boards, far from being harmless games, can attract malevolent entities. They can apparently open up portals to other realities, and there's no way to know what might come through that portal. They can be used reasonably safely by a talented medium who knows what they're doing. But if they're used by people who don't know what they're doing, it's kind of like setting up a beacon in the spirit realm. It's offering an open invitation to anyone or anything that wants to come through. So, maybe all those years ago when I was a kid, maybe my friends and I were lucky back then. Maybe we got lucky that we didn't accidentally open any doors to anything malevolent. Now, again, maybe you think this is all bullshit. That's up to you. But personally, I think I would shy away from messing around with a Ouija board on Halloween or on any other night. So, all I would say is think twice about the games you play tonight, because what seems like a harmless game just might not be. So, that's all for tonight. Have a happy Halloween and stay safe. Thanks for watching.